So, before we take our big trip to the city, we should probably take a moment to tweak our inventory a little bit.
Oh, was that like distilled elemental fire that we were carrying around just completely useless for literally anything else?
Well, I mean, we're gonna need some fire again in the future, but we probably don't need like 4 of them.
And what about the dead bluebird of happiness?
Well, you see, it turns out that we will eventually meet someone who wants a bluebird of happiness, but they're not really into the whole dead thing, so, we might as well just get rid of the dead one.
We've got these blank Magni that, like, we only have a couple of them, but we can just, like, take essence of stuff and then just pour it out like a bottle, which is different from other stuff that we have that consumes the cards. Like, what's happening here?
Well, what's happening is that we are on the hunt for Giacomo, and we're not going to stop until we find him.
I mean, that's definitely one possible answer to that question, but,
Fortunately, he flies around in a very gaudy gold ship, so he's very easy to find.
Oh yeah, they haven't really added the stealth capabilities yet. Well, I guess that's one way to signpost it.
I'll need your help to take out Giacomo. Back me up, okay?
So this conversation right here is, as far as I can tell, the only tutorial, and I'm using that word very loosely, on the whole trust mechanic with Callus.
Spirit's power in battle depends on its relationship with the one it's guarding.
I mean, I can see how they might. I can see what they're driving at here.
Won't be as effective in battle. I do trust you, and find your advice helpful, but this won't work unless our trust is mutual. Okay?
Like, JRPGs have had like weird, oblique trust mechanics for a while at this point. Like, they were a thing.
Help us fight our enemies in the long run.
There was a whole era defined by, like, the Final Fantasy VII Date side quest. Side quest, that was part of the plot, whatever. But it's the thing, people expected it. And they're like, oh, we made an oblique reference to getting people to trust you. And that just gets people to think that literally every time you select a dialogue choice out of a menu, that it's gonna be remembered.
Anyway, this child wanted an apple, and she's trading it for a pebble. I think we definitely came out the winner in that one.
Yeah, that seems like a good trade, and I can recognize the beginning of a very obnoxious side quest when I see it.
Ah, I see you too have played more than one JRPG.
More than one fucking video game. But yeah, like, come on.
Yeah, no, for whatever reason, this game, it commits super hard to having all of its tutorials and all of its mechanics be explained in game, and okay, there is a spot for that, that is admirable to an extent, but I really, really feel like this game would have been substantially improved if they had just occasionally done the old Final Fantasy XIII, hey, this is a tutorial, dipshit, this is how the mechanic works.
Always there is a balance to be struck. But mostly I'm concerned now with the whole thing where, we've gotten this pebble in a trading quest, but also I've seen that we apparently have the ability to just blank our quest cards, so, can we, blank the pebble and fuck everything up?
Oh, absolutely. 100% you can do that.
Do we get to go, full Sierra on this stuff? Is it completely unguarded?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I could empty that Pebble Magnus right now.
Amazing. Like, I thought... I didn't think they still made that kind of thing in 2003, although I guess this was the... Like, I remember this game being contemporary with Tales of Symphonia, which had some, like, it wasn't this kind of adventure game logic, but you could just miss a whole bunch of stuff irrevocably for absolutely no reason, with no warning or provocation or, like...
Oh yes, yeah, old school Tales design is, yeah. We don't talk about pre-Grace's Tales games.
Like, the only thing I remember in any detail about Symphonia is that there's a whole bunch of side quests that only unlock when you walk the whole way up to the door that leads to the final boss and then turn around. That's it.
If those are the only side quests that are bullshit and lock you out, that you remember, consider yourself lucky.
Yeah. I mean, that's just like the famous one. Anyway, I see we're being our usual helpful, considerate self.
So here's a dying old man who is going to promise us some of his cards if we can find his family.
I mean, think of it as like payment for services rendered of being an executor.
Well, but we have to stop the explanation though, because he got a little winded. You know, got the blood pressure up, and just, we're gonna have to take a second and breathe.
Video games.
Look, he's 100 years old. You gotta give him a minute. Anyway, this is a blank Magnus that you are not allowed to empty out because it is a game-spanning side quest. And anyway,
Is he writing on a piece of paper that's in a card?
Anyway, pay very close attention to how some of those lines are connected there.
God, this is gonna be some genealogy puzzles. We gonna have to find out, like, who's the fucking uncle and who's, like, the second cousin thrice removed.
So basically the gist of it is that anytime you're wandering around and you talk to somebody who has a bracelet, they are one of the family members you're looking for. And, yeah. So, you know, it looks alright, but, like...
But I guess if they're lucky, they'll tell you exactly who they are and what the relationship is, and otherwise you gotta figure it out.
Have a look down at the bottom there, though.
There's various levels of kids and grandkids here, and
some of those boxes are intersecting. Just throwing that out there.
I mean, like, bounds on a family tree can mean a lot of things, although there's a lot of places where my mind immediately went where I really would rather it didn't, but I don't know how to react to this. I don't know what to hope.
The bracelet family is a little weird. We're just gonna leave it at that.
I see. A little weird. Okay. That's manageable, I hope. Would you believe this is only the second most fun I've had this week thinking about a family tree? But that's only because of Netflix's Dark. Don't worry about it.
Well, I didn't expect.
Anyway, in a shocking turn of events, we can't really just walk in the front door and fight Giacomo.
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna have to at least fight one person to get in there.
Hey, hello the third, Master of Shadows, at your service. Catch me if you can.
So, you previously warned me about the voice acting, but I feel like you understated certain elements of that warning.
Little devil. You saw him too.
I mean, honestly, I can only speak for myself, but, like, honestly, I feel like you get used to it really quick, even though it's, you know, obviously objectively not very good. And then you have characters like Pololo III who come along and they're like, hey buddy, did we mention this game's voice acting's really fucking bad?
Did he really sneak into the Lord's mansion? How did he do that?
Presumably by fucking teleporting like we just saw?
There could be a hidden entrance somewhere or something. I'm surprised he didn't get caught by the Imperial soldiers.
So I'm sorry, I can't pay attention to anything that you people are saying because I'm just entranced by like the half duck, half goldfish hanging out in the bottom right there. What's with that?
That's another one of the... I forget what they're called, but it's the same thing Nimai is. There's a bunch of them.
Also, what is with the smoke?
Those are clouds. We're in a cloudy city.
Sure, but that's not how this isn't how that works.
Oh, you think this isn't how it works? You wait till we get to the next island.
I mean, if there is one thing that I am completely certain of, it's that this game will have some notions about how certain things work, but
That's funny.
you know, for now.
I sworn he came in here. Whoa!
What are you doing here, man? You're trespassing on my turf. Palolo the third, Master of Shadows.
Perfect timing. I've been looking for you.
Really? Do you want to be one of my henchmen?
Like,
No,
I tried to use the thinking part of my brain to formulate a response to this
I heard you
child,
snuck in the other day.
and every time I try, I remember how he sounds.
So you want to visit the Lord's mansion, huh? I could show you how, but why on earth do you want to get in there?
Why? Well, you see,
Right. I mean, I feel like one of these is both honest
So you want
and the
vengeance,
truth.
huh?
What
What is
this man
vengeance
wants to
mean
hear.
anyway?
Like, I don't see how that's really a choice.
basically, I'm chasing a bad guy.
You see, if you pick the other one, he gets mad at you for like speaking
Okay,
through him.
no problem.
It's funny,
I'll show you how I
but
did
again, you
You
really
know, those kind of
you really
stories
want to
make
milk
you
that
wanna
trust
make
for as
more.
much as you can.
But it's gonna cost
Why is this even you responding in the first place?
No
This is
offense,
like,
but I'm in a hurry.
he's
So,
talking.
You have to tell me
It's
now.
not like you need to tell him what to say. He's not
Hold
like
your
asking for your opinion. Are you like talking out loud through him?
Yes, actually. Yes.
Secrets
Y-
can
yes,
only be
actually.
told in
Like, if
return
you
for
pick the
loot.
Jella option,
That's
he's
the
like,
bottom line.
like his response is
Bring me
literally
the loot,
like,
I'll tell you the
"Hey,
secret."
don't speak through me like that."
Loot?
I have
That's right.
so many questions about this dynamic.
I'm collecting them. Bring me one, and I'll tell you the secret.
Like previously we were like
A spider?
a weird spirit and being able to see or hear us was like a deal, but now we can just casually make him say things.
I'm probably the only one who has 4 of them. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, it's the abilities of the guardian spirit
Okay.
tend
Loot,
to
huh? If you insist.
change on a whim.
Man, this is annoying.
And
Any
all
idea
that,
where I'd find such a web?
and we have a Lali Lulelo style
That's what I'd like to
superpower to
hear.
prevent anybody from saying our name out loud.
Okay, let me think. They're pretty rare, but sometimes...
Anyway,
you can
this
find
child
them in
will
the
tell
bushes.
us how to get
Or
into the
on
mansion,
river.
but we need to find him a rainbow spider web.
Try looking around the river, outside the city. You'll find one if you're lucky.
If I'm lucky, huh?
Seems normal.
I guess I don't have a choice. Let's get this over with.
I'll be in
I
my
mean, if it's the web of a rare spider, at least there might be several of them, but, you know, I know how video games work. There's only going to be one. We're going to have to go in a thing and find it, and we're going to have to fight something first.
Anyway, completely unsurprisingly, I'm sure, we've got a boss coming up.
Uh-huh.
So, and it's a fairly powerful boss as well. Like, this is, like, because, like, the first two bosses in the forest, they're not really much of anything. They're more tutorials on how to use the element system more than anything. And then the next two bosses you fight are both, like, massive difficulty spikes comparatively.
You must be this good at children's card games to pass. I mean, why not? That's how it's supposed to work, right? It's just like, is the system any good, and is the balancing on point, and did they teach you the right things? Is the structure okay? Difficulty spikes can work. Sometimes.
Anyway, that looks an awful lot like something we might get a rainbow spider web from.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about rainbow, but it certainly has kind of a sheen to it, so why not?
So, you are... This is difficult... This guy is difficult largely because you're gonna want to use a lot of fire in this fight, and we really don't have a lot of great options for fire, especially on armor. I think the only thing we have right now is that single fire shield, so we're gonna... Before we go into this fight, we're gonna be swapping a lot of our gear out for more neutral options.
Hey, at least we have a lot of differently numbered swords. That's like something, right? I don't know. Man, I can definitely see how this could very quickly turn into micromanagement hell. I like my management to come in very, well, managed bursts. I don't know about this, though. Well, how hard can this be, right?
So, I mean, as with all bosses, you really want to get a picture of it, but, this one's pretty nice. This one, like, if you get the picture of this guy, it sells for almost like 1,000 gold or something like that.
Yeah, definitely very Eternal Sonata.
So, as you can kind of tell, this guy, he doesn't do a whole lot of note. His main thing is just that, man, he does a lot of water damage, and you don't have any realistic way of countering that water damage.
Yeah. Seems also kind of like this isn't really moving that quickly, like we gotta work at it a bit. I assume we're gonna be able to get off a decent hit eventually, but like, man, I don't know.
Mighty sword, fly swiftly as a gust of wind. Sword style, blue storm.
Well, that was an attempt at being dramatic, but hey, at least we got the numbers right.
Yeah, and then he turns around and he does this. So aside from the stat boost, Hardening Wax also makes it so he automatically blocks all of your attacks. It's great.
That sounds like something that you should be able to negate with fire. I don't know. This seems like the kind of game that would definitely like flirt with doing that kind of
Here you go.
semantic relational stuff between attacks, but I don't know how fine-grained they go with it.
Is that all you got?
But like, I don't know, it seems like it's working out about decently. Then again, I have no perspective on whether or not the amount of preparation you did was, like, ordinary or not, so I can't really comment.
I mean, to be honest, it was maybe a little excessive. You say, thankfully, Callus is a pretty easy one to work with. Once we get Jella back, Jella is when you start diving into micromanagement hell, because she gets attacks for every single element. So,
too many options.
well, not only too many options, but you also end up diving into, okay, well, this area we want to primarily be using water attacks, so we're going to dump all of our fire cards and switch those in, except for the next area, maybe we need something. And then, then you'll turn around and like, oh, but actually the next boss fight is weak to fire, so now we got to dump all of our water cards back out, put the fire cards in, and just... yeah.
Yeah. That kind of balancing is like a very weird thing in JRPGs. Like, I don't know what's the right approach to take for that. I feel like recently Final Fantasy VII Remake did a attempt at trying to balance for that stuff, and I think they did a decent amount, I think. Making it so that you can have like a generalist build that can muddle through the whole thing, or you can optimize really well and then you go into hard mode where you have all the options from the start and everything starts requiring you to be like relying on your memory to prepare for stuff, so that kind of works. Of course, that's in a New Game Plus though, whereas this is right at the beginning, so...
Wow.
Yeah, for better or worse, this, the expectation is being set.
No way. This is my
And you don't, like I said, you certainly do not have to go to the extent that I did, and will be doing for most boss fights. I have the obvious hindsight of having just played the section, so I know for the most part which elements I should be going in with. But
see this well here? There's a secret
like if I didn't know that boss was resistant to water, I would have gone in with some ice daggers, and it would have been
the water's pretty much gone,
fine.
So it's no big deal.
But
You might get a little wet once you're inside the mansion, though.
I see.
it would have taken longer.
How did you?
That's kind of the thing.
What was with these children trying to start a trading subquest with each other?
Well, being
Like,
the
did that-
master of shadows and all.
Is that just some extraneous dialogue that got left in here, or
you're
what?
In a hurry, right? If you're not ready yet, do what you need to do. I'll be waiting here.
All right.
Hint, player, this is a point of no return.
Like, kid, why do we need you to jump down the well? Like, are you gonna like hold the rope for us? I don't think that's how this works.
Let's go.
I mean, I appreciate the telegraphing, but
That mansion's full of spooky helmet heads. Don't get caught, okay?
Now watch my step. See ya. And thanks for the help, Lolo.
But you see, there's a twist.
Pololo? Are you sure this is a rainbow spider's web? I don't think it is.
It's not. They're really hard to find this time of year.
oh man,
All along,
we got so nobly played.
These characters they're just collectively, they're so great.
Yeah.
So they're just so noble, such great guys,
Trust myself sometimes.
Why would you not want to spend more time with these people?